Hello and welcome to my channel. Today is March 22nd, 2021. And this is going to be more of a ranting video brought to you by Twitter, the cesspool that has become. That's right, it is this tweet that I'm going to be referring to, which is mine. How long before we get the first female black president not elected? Before or after the midterms? It's a legitimate question because Kamala Harris is going to be the first female black president, assuming that Biden doesn't resign or something else. Of course, this person is definitely a Democrat based off their name, which is Blue US 2021. What are you scared of? Women or people of color or both? Think about joining the 21st century, Lordy. Of course, I responded, I'm not I'm scared of the not elected part because the VP is not technically elected because we're actually electing presidents. Me personally, I wish we could go back to where the founding fathers were, where we had the person with the most votes become president and the person with the second most vote becomes vice president. I think that would be a good compromise, especially with the two-party system that we have. That way they're technically elected, they just didn't meet the threshold to beat the other one. But I think those days are long and gone. But yeah, I'm not scared of the elected part. This has nothing to do with gender or race, but seeing how the left wants to break those glass ceilings. And of course, this person responded back, the ticket was elected. That's the way it's always worked. Nope. It's only worked for the last, I think, 120 odd years before it actually went to party. If necessary, for the couple hundred years since when is this scary? Do you think Joe is just a placeholder and the left is very successfully devious? Yes, I am. Ha! More sounds like you just don't want the glass shattered. And of course, my response is sounds like you're projecting a little bit. Harris tried to run and didn't even make it to the first primary before dropping out, which is a true statement. She is not qualified, which is also a true statement. Once again, nothing about gender or race, but the person themselves. How is she not qualified and Trump was, and Pence once? Dropping out when she didn't see a path to the nomination seemed to be a decision based on realism versus ego. For one thing, her ego is pretty out there, and this was probably a blow to her ego. Too bad more candidates didn't do the same. This will be our president in a few years. This person who was the least qualified, the VP, should have been Tulsi, which is an opinion, but it's a fact that I hold that opinion. Of course, this is during the Democrat debate during the primaries, where Galbert slams Harris for the record of California Attorney General, stating people suffered under your reign, excuse me, as prosecutor. That's right. She had cheap labor from prison laborers that were either going to be released or found innocent, but she used them as slave labor to fight fires and a few other things. Then, of course, this is pretty much where it went to the nosedive. You and the Russian media and the Russian trolls and the right wing Americans with 3Ks love Tulsi. Now, I don't really love Tulsi. I just think she was more reasonable. She presented herself better. She's able to actually speak on the facts and base her opinions based mostly on those, mixed with a little emotions. I thought she was very thin on real content and very heavy on serving herself and trying to sabotage the process, but each their own. So, yeah, the fact that she didn't really back down, I don't know. I mean, it really is opinions at this point, and that's pretty much where it pretty much took a nosedive. Keep on believing those lies that the media tells you, and the whole Americans with the 3Ks, and speaks more about this person than it does about me. Best of luck. And of course, the person responded back with okay with 3Ks, signifying the Klan. But anyways, I'm only bringing this up because the left only cares about the the Asian Americans when something bad happens. Um, and I think this is really telling of them. Pretty much anything that the left does, anything that the Democrats do, they try to make issues out of everything and then just make it worse. I mean, I don't really have all the facts into that crime, that tragedy, but from what I could tell, this person was a loser and did what losers people do. Um, it's sad, and I hope the families get the griefs that they want. But this actually goes to a deeper down. When presented with facts, when I presented him with the or her or them, it doesn't really matter. Then with the fact of how Tulsi was much better, or well, not really how much better, but how Kamala wasn't qualified. It was only there for her ego. They resort back to the narrative that Tulsi was a Russian asset or a dictator sympathizer because she spoke with Assad in Syria. And this is just my issue, is whatever they put their hands on, they make it worse. So we had a Social Security issue with people not being able to retire during the 1920-ish, during the Great Depression. So we got Social Security, which was going great, even though it was supposed to be temporary. But now we're being told that we may lose it because there's not enough money to keep it. There's not enough jobs to keep up with there. And that was a Democrat solution. Then we got my favorite genderless people say that they need to be representation. Now, keep in mind that the issue I have with the left and identity politics is a lot of these weren't really issues. For example, the transgender community. It really wasn't an issue until the left made it an issue. And of course, the left made it this big old issue, virtual signaling, which made it into a bigger issue. Because now you get the right that's taking notice. Now, I'm pretty sure the right knew about them, but they were in this little. They're more like swept under the rug, is more like it. Then, of course, you get the Republicans doing what the Republicans do. They have their own issues too. And I might make a video on my issues with the right and the Republicans. But, anyways, the left took the issue with the transgender, blew it out of proportion, and now we're here today where parents are being arrested for child abuse for misidentifying their children's gender because children are so wise beyond their years to know better than their parents. And then we also have parents virtual signaling that wants the transgender child to be virtually saying, look at me, I'm such a great parent, I am accepting of their choice, which in return they're forcing the choice onto their parents. And this is my real issue, my real crux, is it to whatever the left does, they make it worse. And then we got scratch and sniff Mr. Biden and President with the border wall. Now, I'm not saying President Trump had the border wall issue solved or was going in the right direction, but Biden just made the issue worse, and him being a Democrat and on the left, I have to fault that on the Democrats' position because if we don't secure our borders and we say we're going to be taking a less forceful tone, that is an invitation to the people outside the country to storm our borders and be the horde of zombies that they are. And not only that, to add insult to injury, they are actually paying for hotel rooms. That's right. They are paying for hotel rooms for illegal immigrants to stay here because there's not enough room because the influx is coming and because Biden is weak on the border. I mean, that's my issue. They just take an issue, they think they're virtualists, and then they have the media all in control, saying the narrative, spreading half truths, and mixing a little bit of lie, and then we have the left. Honestly, the left really needs to lose. I don't know, that's just my rant. Not really thought out. Hopefully, it was thought out enough. Came out clear. Anyways, leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are. Smash the like and subscribe button on all the platforms. But most importantly, have yourself a wonderful day, morning, or evening.